I'm going to start recording. And first of all, thank you guys so much for participating. And I know that I'm super, super behind in, like Janelle, I saw that you tagged me in a question about coach enrollment. So we'll talk about that. But I know I'm just behind in general in that group. And I've been so ill this week. But I'm like, like 95% feeling good today. So after I get this call, I will spend some time kind of just being present in the group. So I apologize for my absence. It's certainly nothing personal. It's just been kind of a yucky week. So what I'd love to do is start with questions that you guys have, and then we'll move on to answering the questions that other people posted in the group. And I would love I'd love to let you guys go in like a half an hour just so that you're not feeling like tied to the computer all night, but I just want to be here to support you. So April, since you were our first face we saw, do you want to get us started with any questions that you might have?
Well, I guess my biggest one is just trying to understand how it works from the standpoint of so I've been working on the website and getting that done, but it's kind of that signing up process and how we get people to, not how we get them, but how we formally connect them to us. So let's say, for example, I have a friend of mine who is interested in Shakeology. How do I get that friend that order?
Right.
What I mean?
Yep.
So that part, and I'll admit, I haven't been through everything in the Coach Online office yet at all.
I haven't either.
There's a lot in there.
Later.
So it's that kind of stuff where I'm just not sure I understand, because I know when I first started with Kristen, I would be like, well, I need an order of Shakeology, and she would just take care of it or whatever, until I became a coach. And now I've been kind of ordering pretty much on my own.
Yeah. So once you get comfortable, once you've set up your website and you feel like, and I can walk you through this too, one-on-one if you want help, but you feel like you can give people your link, So if you go into edit website, you're going to see, I think it's in the right-hand corner pop up. I could be wrong, but your URL to your website. And so, and you can always alter that to something that's comfortable for you to edit it. But once you get comfortable giving people your link, that's how I started. I don't know about you, Carla, but I just gave people my link and just gave them, I just walked them through how to order that way. Now there are sites you can use to abbreviate your link and bring them directly to what you want them to buy. Carla, do you use those?
I use the Beachbody links. I have to be honest, I don't really use my website. Basically, once I talk to people and know what they want, I just give them the link to the specific product that they want and do it that way.
Would you be at all comfortable sharing what exactly, walking us through what you do on, not right now, but even just to the group even,
Sure. Yeah. Do you want me to just make a post about it?
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
You don't mind? Because some people use simple coaching codes and some people use Beachbody links. And Janelle, have you used any of the shortening?
Yeah. And I think that could, hi guys.
Hi.
I think that could be why I'm having problems. I just thought I remember Nicole told me, you can use this link, and then it seems super easy, and it is, but then it doesn't always, if I send it to an instant message, sometimes when the person pulls it up, it works, and sometimes it doesn't, and it takes them to in fact, one person, it took them to me as though I'm logged in. I don't know. So it was weird. And I had to log out of it because I was testing where I sent it to them. Right. I tested it into Safari. Okay. And so that person got discouraged and was like, you know what, I'll do it next month. Right. So I'm like, okay, great. But, and then I've had other people that they purchased challenge packs in the past, but they didn't get the containers. And so I was trying to give them that link. And for some reason, they didn't order them, and I don't know if that's why. So I actually need to follow up and see if things worked out.
Right.
They could even pull it up, but they're kind of the two people that are a little slow to do things. Mm-hmm. So it could just be that. Yeah, so I've been very frustrated because it's actually made it so, yeah, like I'm hesitant to want to like reach out to people because they send the link and then I'm like, ah.
If the link doesn't work, I've had a couple, I don't remember which one it was that I was using that they came up as an unsecure something and they got all freaked out and they didn't want to purchase through it. So sometimes you do end up with weird things. I think we'll have Carla talk about what she does because I have not really established a good system, and that's kind of embarrassing to say because I've had a few weird experiences. Carla, have you ever had weird experiences with links?
I've had the thing where if I don't log out, I've had that issue. So you just have to make sure that you log out, and then I also tend to test it after I log out in a different browser.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that it's working.
So
it's a little extra step, but
it's nice
so
if
Carla?
Yeah.
So when you do that, the whole logging out thing, so let's say you logged out and then like, I don't know, the next evening you're logged in and that's when the person opens it. Are they still going to have that problem?
Not to my knowledge. I think it's just when you send the link.
Mm-hmm.
If you send the link while you're logged in, then it comes up to your page because it's linked. It gives that link
okay.
The link that you're trying to give them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think when pushed, when all else fails, it's okay just to give them your Beachbody link and, like go straight to your page and walk them through how to do it. Most people are pretty web savvy at this point, like click on Shakeology, select your flavor, like you could just walk them through step by step. Cause that's what I did that's what I did for a couple of years when I first started, because that's the only option there was. Right.
Okay.
So don't be shy about just sending people the link and then investigating what works for you. And as far as enrolling people as coaches, the only way I ever do it, because Janelle, I know you had a question, is I send them straight to my Beachbody page and I say, click on the green coach or the blue coach, whatever color it is, and it will walk them through. I don't ever send them an abbreviated link. I don't know if I should. Carla, do you?
That's the way I've done it so far, and I haven't had any issues.
Okay.
I say do what's working.
Do what's working, right? That's what I've just have never changed it because I'm always like, here's my website, click on coach. And it's like right, in the middle, it's one of the options you can like shop or coach, so I don't know if that helps. April, that was a really long-winded answer to your question, but I think just starting to get familiar with your store and kind of what it looks like. And then if you want to use a simple link rather than your long Beachbody link, we can show you how to do that too.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not there yet. I think I was hoping to have some time this weekend to put it together a little bit better and just kind of figure out, because then the next step is, where are they going to come from, and so, and I told Kristen that I said, my biggest fear with doing this is just that, I'm not going to generate any kind of, and it's not about the numbers as much as it is. I'm just like, I know people in my head that I would like to help, but it's like, how do you, my best friend, really could use some serious help.
Yeah.
And, but that's a conversation you have to approach very carefully.
Yeah. A lot of times those are the last people who want your help, I have found. Or the last people who will reach out to you. Maybe they want it, but. Other questions, April, that you have?
Yeah, I don't think so. Because I'm not going to worry about like levels and all of that. And I just learned about the SC part the other day I was reading. So that I figure I'll just get as we go.
Yeah.
And not too, at first it was kind of overwhelming because I'm like, well, how does everybody fit together? And then I thought, I'm not going to worry about it. I get too fixated on the org chart and then I don't get things done. So. Right.
It'll come together. It'll start to make sense. It just, a lot of it's learn as you go with that kind of stuff, but never be hesitant to ask questions too. I think. Anything else you feel like is you just, and you can pop, you can always jump in with other questions too. Oh, geez. Sorry, I'm going to shut my office doors really quick because my husband's watching something loud. Hold tight. April, think on that. And Janelle, I'm going to pop over to you.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you. Your
Hello?
picture's frozen. We can hear you,
you.
Janelle.
Yep. We can hear you, Janelle. You're fine. Oh, now we can't. We've lost her. All right. I'm going to answer a couple of the questions that people, while we wait, that people had written in the group. And again, like, don't feel bad, guys, if you have to bow out at any time. And also don't feel bad if there's anything you want to like hop in and answer for or ask. If you've got something that comes up that you're like, oh, I want to know about that. Okay. Let's see. All right, Kim wants to know how I organize stuff. So I'll talk about that in a minute because that's kind of it's a long-winded answer. All right, Deidre wants to know what it means to become Emerald and how you do it. She sees newer coaches hitting but doesn't know the details. So when you're a coach, every coach has a right and a left leg in their organization that you can sign coaches up on, okay? And to be an Emerald coach means you have signed 2 coaches and that they're active. By active, that means that they have to have 50 in product volumes going through their business each month. And I know that sounds overwhelming and you're like, I don't necessarily know what that is, but 50 product volume, 50 PV means that it can either be their personal orders or orders that are coming in that people are purchasing from them to keep them active. Nothing bad happens to you if you go inactive, but you will lose your rank, okay? So if you have got a coach on your right side and your left side and both are active, you are Emerald. So Emerald's kind of the first goal if you are trying to work your business. I personally think Emerald should be the goal for everybody, even if you're not trying to work your business. You just want the discount because you start to earn cycle bonuses off of the volume underneath you once you hit Emerald. And it's nice because even if you're just coaching for the discount, I have discount coaches who've been in the business a long time who now get their shakes basically paid for every few months, you know, because of their Emerald status, because they've got money that trickles up through that. So Emerald just means 2 active coaches, 1 on each side underneath you, and it's very doable. And that will be the next step for most of you after you finish this coach training. Let's see. Hi, you're back, Jill.
I am. Sorry, I spilled water on my computer this week.
Oh, no.
So it shut out.
Oh, no, that is not good. Janelle, I'm going to come to you in just 1 second here. I just wrapped up I'll let you kind of gather yourself. I just wrapped up the Emerald question. What is an Emerald? I'll talk about my organization, like how I keep things organized. If there's one thing that I had wished I'd done differently, this is April Lawler asks this. When I'd started my business, what would it be? 2 things. I can answer that right off the top of my head. 2 things is the first is I did not do any personal development when I started because I didn't think I had time. So I literally probably went a year without really listening. I plugged into my upline coaches' calls. That's personal development, right? But I didn't listen to any of the national wake-up calls. I didn't pick up a book about this business. Like, I was really resistant to doing personal development, which is kind of sad because I'm an English teacher, so it's not like I don't like to read, okay? But I just didn't have time. I had 2 little kids, and I was like, I don't have time for that. And I really didn't see the value in it. And I would think that once I finally started consistently doing personal development and stopped ignoring it, there was a huge correlation to my income increasing, my confidence increasing, my happiness increasing, my ability to lead increasing. So don't do what I do and waste a year refusing to do it because you don't have time. Make the time, even if it's just 5 pages a day or listening in the car for 10 minutes a day, catching the wake-up calls once a week. Like, it doesn't take much to move your business forward with personal development. So that's number 1 I regret. And then the other thing I wish I had done different when I started as a coach is I wish I had been confident in myself and in my business. And I spent a lot of time doubting myself and being worried what other people would think who cares what other people think? And I think that it took me a while to really get over that and not worry if people on Facebook thought that I was selling stuff or if what my friends had to say, because like I said to April a few minutes ago, sometimes it's the people who need your help the most, or the people you're closest to, who are your biggest critics in this business. And you've got to develop a tough skin. And I think that I really struggled with what people's perceptions were of me, when that was just a huge waste of energy. So I wish I'd had more confidence and cared less about people's thought perceptions. And I wish that I had done personal development. Those are my two big tips for what I had done. Wish I would have done differently, because I think I would have found success in this business and happiness quicker. So that's my soapbox there. Janelle, you have a question for us, lady?
Well, it's maybe just a little bit on what we talked about already.
Yeah.
Because I was curious when you said that you, for the first 2 years that you sent them to your site. Well, what do you do different now?
I don't have a real good system, so that's why I'm curious to know what Carla does. How's that for honest?
Do you do it over the phone with people, or?
Oh, no. I just don't necessarily use the same abbreviated links for things. No, I always send.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess I'm curious about the idea of taking them to the web page, because how I've been doing it is sending them to a specific package, right? Or
Yeah.
a specific item. And if I send them to my page and I'm not there to walk them through it, because I do have a lot of people that don't want to get on the phone, they're just texting people.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, like, are they going to get lost, or do you type them out the information, like click on this and click on this, and
Yep.
so that they see the offer?
Yep. That's what I do. The danger in that is, first of all, it's a lot of instructions you're giving people, and then they're also going to, and this may sound like, I'm just going to try to say this in a way that doesn't sound shady, because I know Carla knows what I'm going to say, but then they're going to
Yes.
for options, and they're going to be like, I don't want to do the Shakeology because I can do it for $60. So that's the problem you're running through when you're walking them through. Is like, I'll be like, here's my website, click on challenge packs on the upper left hand side, select 21-day fix challenge pack, select your flavor of Shakeology, check out. I mean, it's like 5 steps. If people can't figure that out, there's some problems. Okay?
Yeah.
So typically, like, you literally can just cut and paste the same set of instructions. Issue though is that you're asking people to follow instructions rather than just sending them the link, and you're also then opening their eyes to all sorts of other aspects of your website, which can be positive but might not necessarily bode well for your sale.
Okay.
Because then sometimes they'll be like, well, I just ordered the program, I saw it was cheaper, and then you're like, oh, darn it, I should have sent them a simple coaching codes link or whatever. So clearly I'm scattered because, and this sounds terrible, because I learned to do it a certain way. And then I'm like, I need to relearn and get my process simplified with how I walk people through the ordering process. I'm being completely transparent with you guys there.
Okay. No, I appreciate that, because that's the toughest part so far for me. So
Yeah.
that, and then
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I very rarely walk people through on the phone. Sometimes I do.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not used to doing calls like this where there's that lag time, so I get a little stuck when I'm talking.
Oh, you're fine.
But, okay. I guess my other question that's kind of come up is, say you have somebody interested. They might say me, when you advertise on the social media, and then you instant message them. And then you might ask them something about their goal or what interested them, and they maybe reply or they maybe don't. But then, and I've had it where then the next time I say, I'm still trying to build people, and that same person will say me, and I've already tried to talk to them on the back end, and I know that they saw the instant message. So I'm like, okay. And I just was curious, when it's close to when you got to finish out your month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to start your new group, just kind of how you handle that.
I provide a little sense of urgency. I just say, hey, I'm just checking in, and I don't want to bother. I usually say, I'm just checking in. I don't want to bother you. So if you're not interested, please let me know. I give them an out right there. Okay. And then I say, but I'm setting up my new group, and I'd really love for you to be a part of it. But if you're wanting to get your goodies in time, you need to, commit to making your order? What questions do you have? Or what's holding you back? Or do you have any concerns? Or are you ready? I always end with a question to invite them to respond to me. And I usually do give them an out in the beginning, like, hey, if you're not interested, please just let me know so I don't keep messaging you, because I want them to say no if they're not interested. I don't want to keep chasing them. I hate that.
Yeah.
Plus, sometimes they will say, no, please keep messaging me. I'm just not ready right now. And then they've given you permission, right? So, and then I always end with a question, and I always give a sense of urgency, like, hey, I'm setting up my group today. The order deadline is today. I say it in a nice way, I would love to know. I would love to have you be a part of it. Are you still interested? Or what hesitations or questions do you have? Does this sound like something that's right for you? I mean, something like that. I end with a question, keep the conversation going, and I keep my rechecks in with people very short, because chances are you've already messaged them a few times, or you've had a dialogue, and it's like, then it just looks like message after message after message coming from you, and it just starts to feel bothersome. So I keep it a couple sentences, real friendly and light. Hey, just checking in. Does that help?
Okay. Yeah, it does. Thank you.
People are so weird. I feel like they say me, and then it's usually a price objection. I have found they just don't want to come out and say it. So give them the option to say it. Like, what questions do you have, or what's holding you back? Does this still sound like something you're interested in right now? And then they'll be like, well, I don't know, because of the price,
Yeah.
And then you can deal with that as it comes up. But
Okay. Thank
keep
you.
following up till you get a no.
Okay.
I do. Or yes, obviously. Oh. Anything else that's come up, Janelle, that you got a question on?
I just saw the post that you were going to do this call. I don't know how I missed it. So I was like, oh,
Nice.
good, So I didn't formulate a lot of questions. I literally
That's
just
okay.
got home. So, yeah, that's where I am.
Okay.
I'll chime in later if I want.
Yeah, chime in. Don't be shy. And Tracy and Carla, as seasoned, fabulous coaches on here, feel free to jump in if I'm not saying what you do, because there's not just one right way to do things. Okay? It's obviously. I don't even have like a simple coaching code link down. So, I mean, clearly I have got things still to learn in this business, and I am very honest about it. Kayla asked, how do you comfortably ask friends who are more overweight than you to join? With the joys of social media, it's easy to connect, but not actually talking to them regular. How do you offer your support without them taking offense? I don't ask them to join. I just form a relationship with them. Okay. I don't touch base with them and be like, unless they've done something to express an interest or a need. That's different. If they're posting all over Facebook about how they can't get into their jeans and how they're going to start eating right tomorrow, then of course I would reach out to them and I'd be like, hey, I saw your post. I want to let you know I'm here to support you. This is what I've got coming up, etc., etc. But if they've never mentioned having a weight problem or feeling bad about where they're at, then I'm certainly not going to reach out to them and be like, hey, I got this solution for you. They're going to be super offended, as they should be. Maybe they feel good in their skin. I don't know. So I really don't do a lot of cold approaching people, asking if they're interested in my upcoming weight loss challenge or whatever it may be, especially if I know that weight is an issue for them, if they haven't expressed a need. So I will just start a conversation in general to check in with something, anything, kids baseball, that you came across a picture of you guys from college and it made you laugh, and send a snapshot of it. I don't know, but start that relationship building process, because eventually it's gonna come up. They're gonna express a need and you're gonna be there to support them. But the time has to be right and it has to feel authentic, because if you're really approaching someone who really does have health and weight issues, if they want help, they know what you do, and you can't be pushy with it. I don't know, Carla and Tracy, if you've got anything else you want to add to that. I think it's different if they're expressing a need, but if you're expressing their need, you just got to keep the relationship building going. That's how you're going to help them. But in my opinion, but I don't know if anybody else, anything they want to add, because everybody's different. Carla or Tracy, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can agree with you that only when people have expressed something to me, then I offer something, you know? I think, and maybe this is just from like, I would just think that when you're talking about this, you know, like if you're a coach and people know that you are, like, it might even make somebody feel that is overweight a little uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And so they might even try to avoid you for a little bit, you know, but if you just keep being a product of the product and showing up every day and, you know, showing that, you know, on your posts daily, they're going to be curious and follow you, you know, most likely. So just keep doing what you're doing. And, I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, you know, certainly talk to them about it, but yeah, it's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
So I guess that's, I don't really have too much either for that one, but and if it's someone you're super, super close with and you've talked about weight issues with them, I mean, if, you know, a really great friend of yours, then I don't think it's, you know, you feel that relationship out, but.
Mm-hmm. I have found, I think you're right on, Tracy. So thank you for sharing your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I really have found, and I'm not just saying this because you've heard me say it like 20 times, but some of the very last people to come around are going to be your spouse, your best friend, your mom, your sister. I don't know what it is. It's just the way it is. The people who are going to come around first, a lot of times are the people you're not as close to because it's easier for them to approach you. And it's easier for you to navigate that relationship with them. I have found.
And I think sometimes part of that reason is like some of the people that I've worked with, like I was friends with them in the past, but they're not someone that I see frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Agreed.
the people that you're close to, like you're going to be able to be more likely to see, like, are you really doing what you say you're doing? And so then they might feel judged and feel like apprehensive that you're going to judge them because they're not following the program to a T. Whether you, like, I'm a big proponent, and I think most of us are, of like, you know, yes, it's ideally you want to follow the program to a T, but this is real life and that doesn't happen for a lot of people. And it's okay, and just pick yourself back up, learn, you know, better habits and incorporate them as much as you possibly can. But I think sometimes people just feel like, no, she's gonna like scold me if I don't do it the way you're supposed to. Whereas people that you're just kind of like old time friends with from college, you haven't seen for a while, you're more just kind of acquaintances now. I just don't feel like they feel that as much.
I agree. That's a really good perspective. I agree. It's a really vulnerable, sensitive issue for people, their weight and their health and their emotional well-being too. And it's easier to reach out to someone who's not in your inner circle sometimes. Yep. And watching you. I agree. So I really, guys, I believe that this business is based on relationships, 100%. And so the best thing you can do for people is just keep being there and being product of the product and forming relationships. And people will come to you when they're ready if they're really struggling. It's easy to reach out to those fitness freaks in your life and be like, oh my gosh, you know, you'll love this, blah, 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 because they're not going to be offended. But sometimes the people who really need our help the most, you have to navigate it the most sensitively and just be there. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate your perspective. That was really helpful. I am looking really quick at our, I lost my questions. Let's see. That's what Kayla asked. I didn't get any other questions besides organization. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I do to organize my life, which is kind of funny because I'm so unorganized much of the time. But obviously I have some semblance of organization in my world. So a few things that I have found are really, really essential for this business as far as organizing is the first thing you have to organize, guys, as far as your systems. The first thing you have to organize, and probably the biggest struggle for every single person on our team, is you have to organize your time. And it's really hard because We are all busy people, whatever your life entails. Some people on our team are physicians. Some people are teachers. Some people are nurses, stay-at-home moms. I mean, whatever your reality is, your life is really busy and you have a lot of commitments and you wear a lot of hats. So organizing your time first and foremost is the most important thing you need to organize. And for me, I've tried a lot of different systems, and I'm not going to lie, it's a daily crapshoot. And why? Because I have 3 kids that are ages, 6 and under. So it's busy, but everybody's busy. So I think that for me, the system that has worked best is my husband and I sit down on Sunday nights together, because spouses are a really easy person to lose in this business. Okay. Like, you've got all these things you're going to be plugged into, and I got this call, and I've got to hit Success Club, and I've got to listen to the call, and I've got to learn all this stuff. And your spouse is the one who's sitting in the background being like, I understand what you're putting all this time into. You're not making any money. This is hard. Okay. So don't forget your spouse in this business. So Jason and I sit down on Sunday nights. We look at our calendar for the week, like T-ball practice, soccer practice, school board meetings, and then I tell him when my calls are, so he knows about this call tonight. So he's obviously watching something really loud, and they're like blowing things up on the TV that I don't want to watch anyways. Great. Works for both of us. So we then block out our calendar together, right, for the week, our family calendar, and I tell him about the Beachbody commitments that I have that are going to take away from, time with him. And then I go through week by week and kind of schedule out when are my power hours going to be. Now, when I first started this business, I was not having power hours. I was having like power 15 minutes here and there. I built this business on about half an hour a day because I just didn't have the time or energy. I want to make the time to commit more than that because I was teaching. And that's fine. So now I plan in when are my power hours going to be. And I try not to plan it during family time when my kids are present and need me, and then I do sneak in some work here and there, like, while I'm in the shower, I listen to a call, or, tonight, my kids were running in the backyard with the neighbors, and Jason was home mowing, and like nobody was paying attention to me. So I'm like, I'm going to quick set up this group I've got. So it was on my to-do list for the day. I quick set up the group. And I didn't take that long. I didn't feel guilty about taking time away from my kids, So I set up my block. I'm really rambling now, but I try to block out my time for the week, and I try, and it's some weeks it works better than others. I'm going to be honest with you, but I try to find when is the best time to get my power hour or hours for me at this point in for the week. And sometimes that means, my team's heard me say this 100 times, but success is not convenient. So sometimes it means getting up early or staying up late, or, working for an hour instead of watching The Bachelor, or whatever it may be. You've got the time in your day if you really want to make this work, but you might have to literally write it out in your planner. And that's what I do. My power hour today was from, 2 to 3. And that is, I sat down and I worked from 2 to 3. My kids were napping. That's when I got my stuff done. So first thing you need to tackle is your time. How much time do you really want to put into this business? How are you going to fit it into your life in a way that doesn't take away from your family? Because ultimately that's who you're doing this for, most of us. And so it's not fair to them if you're constantly on your phone or on your computer. And it's also, you're not really working effectively. So tackle your time first. I color code my planner. Also, as far as tackling my time, I'm going to show you a couple other systems that I do. And again, I'm not perfect, and I'm definitely not the most organized. Back when I taught high school and college, a lot of times my lesson plans were on a sticky note. Okay, so that's just kind of how I roll. It's not like I don't plan. It's not like I'm completely unorganized, but I'm not like type A by any means. So some people would be driven crazy by my systems, but I got to do what works for me. So I'm going to try to walk around so you can see. Can you guys see my calendar?
Yep.
Okay.
I wish.
Right? Okay, well, Janelle, it just says May, and I've got stuff written out. So one thing you're going to learn about this business, new coaches, is that you're working this business 30, 60, 90 days in advance all the time. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you can't be thinking about just like this week and this month and today. You need to be thinking about, what am I going to do in June? Because all the people that you're talking to right now, like Janelle just said, some of them are like, I'm in, and they're not in, So they're going to be the people who are going to be purchasing from you and who want your help in June and July. And so if you wait until June 1st to be like, who should I invite this month? What kind of challenge am I going to do? Guess what? You're not going to have anything organized or ready to go until July. So I put my visual of the month up, and I should probably actually start planning June like yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to put my team calls. I'm going to put any coach trainings that I have coming up. I'm going to put what my challenge groups are if I'm going to run a challenge group where they have to buy a challenge pack, and I always try to run a free challenge too. So I plan that out, because if I don't have a plan, then all of a sudden I cruise into the month and I fall apart, and I have like no prospects and no plan, and I'm trying to scrape things together. And that's what happened to me in April. And I had the worst month I think I've ever had in April, because March was crazy for my family and I didn't plan anything. And then April 1st rolled around and I was trying to connect with a bunch of people and figure out a plan, and nothing happened the whole month basically. But then I'm already at Success Club 4 right now in May. Does that make sense? Because I'm planning a month ahead. So what the seeds you're planting this month, you will be harvesting in June, July, and August. 30, 60, 90 days in advance. This business takes time to grow. So always be planning, as well as your weekly calendar and daily calendar, your monthly calendar for this month and next month. Always be thinking ahead. Okay, I'm rambling. I've got one more thing to show you for organization. But I like that visual. Yes, my husband and I have the family calendar like I told you about, and I have my own personal planner too, and I have a calendar on my phone. I kind of am all over the place. But that Beachbody whiteboard is just for me to know, like, this is what I've got going on. I can wrap my mind around when people need to order product. I can know when I've got a new coach training coming up or a call coming up, so I can be present for those things. I'm going to show you one more thing. Okay, as far as organizing things, other than that, a couple of different systems that I do. One is on my computer. I have a lot of Google Docs, and I try to organize those accordingly, so that's easy to pull up information. If you run a challenge group, I highly encourage you to go through and take the information from the challenge group and put it in a Google Doc, like day 1 through 21. So then you can reuse some of those posts and stop having to reinvent the wheel all the time, guys. This business doesn't need to be rocket science. Okay. If you run a free clean eating group, it might be work the first time you put it together, but then you've got it saved for every other time after that. Or ask me, because I've got one saved, and you can take mine and modify it. We're all about duplicating. So organize files on your computer, whether it be, I'm a big fan of Google Docs, but then I also have like a challenge group images folder. I don't know about you guys, down to, and some people are super organized. They'll have like a 21-day fix folder, max 30 folder, Shakeology folder. I don't have that organized. Okay. But some people do. So organize your files on your computer, because part of what's going to suck your time during that power hour is trying to Google and find images, trying to invent posts. Am I right, coaches? And that's a waste of your time. That's not building your business. Okay. Do it once. And then from there you can modify, invent, it's fun and creative to come up with some new challenges, but you don't need to do it every single post or every single month. So start organizing your Google Docs and start organizing your files on your computer so that you can easily be pulling information and duplicating and making it better. So whatever system works for you. In the online office, you're going to see that there's challenge group guides to lead you through any challenge group. So if I'm going to do a max 30 challenge this month and I haven't done max 30 yet, for example, I could pull the max 30 challenge group guide and save it to my computer in a max 30 folder and start creating my own documents to use. So don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. Get organized with your electronic documents. I also am a huge pen and paper gal. So I don't know about you guys. So I have a binder and I have dividers in here. And I like to put pen to paper, and I really do. And as a teacher, obviously I kept a lot of documents, same thing, organized by unit, by book, by whatever I was teaching on my computer. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel every time, but I also as a teacher, I like to put pen to paper. And so I think that's just kind of has translated into this business for me. So my binder here, I have, and you could do this however you wanted. And if you're only like to do things electronically, you could mimic this somehow electronically. This works for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for you. So right here, I have my push goals. So that means every Monday, every Monday morning, I sit down in a quiet place and I write out my top 10 goals for the year. And it's really neat to see some of those get knocked off, as I go through. So I keep my push goals in there, and I just like write them out, keep them in there. And then I have my to-do list. So I also every Monday will make like my giant master to-do list. Now, I don't work off of that to-do list every day because what would happen, I would be so overwhelmed and I would cry. So I will refer to that to-do list and then pick like the top 3 things that have to be done, and anything else I get done is bonus. But I have my to-do list, and you could do that for the month. You could do it for the week. To me, it helps to put all that on paper. Some people would rather use an app, rather use their phone. I got whiteboard in my office. I'm gonna start putting them up there. Then I have a section here for call topics and video topics that I need to do for you guys. So that's just for my mental notes. I have a tab for the Wisconsin Market Council because I'm on the Market Council here of coaches to help plan like Super Saturdays and that. So when we have calls, I make notes. And then I have a tab for my Power of Threes. And that basically is, am I reaching out, basically where I organize people I've talked to. So let's see if I've got a good one that's filled in. This is from, obviously I just moved, so I'm trying to like even figure out what I'm doing. But so I would like, I've got my names filled in, how many people did I reach out to? Sometimes, did I friend? Did I invite? I just am recording the names. Now, some people keep those electronically. I've tried it. For some reason, I just keep coming back to pen and paper for my lists. So I keep all my contacts that I'm like, here's, my nose from last month. My kids wrote all over it. So I need to put them in there. So I'm still going to keep them because I may not. And here's like a list of invites that I did one day. So I keep them in there. Probably I need a better system than that to organize my contacts, to be honest with you. But for me, that works. And when I asked Melissa McAllister, our grandma coach, how she organizes her contacts, she was like in a notebook. I was like, boom, and you're a multimillionaire. So I don't have to feel bad about myself, right? So if a notebook works for you, girl, you rock out that notebook. If Google Doc works for you or an Excel sheet, cool. Do what works for you. So here, then I'm just going to keep breezing through. I keep a section for my challengers, my current challengers. So you're going to see my May 9th group is in there already ready to go. And then I can keep track of them. Like, obviously, I keep track of them on the computer too. But just like, if I just want to, like, as they start filling my group, like a couple ladies here I have question marks by because they were still like maybes and they never committed. So just reminds me, because sometimes people will be like, I'm in, and then you forget that they said they were in, right? So like write them down, that kind of thing. You can go back and check on them, follow up with them. It's a good thing. Then here I have my coach prospect little spreadsheet, which I need to fill out. That one is, I think probably I've got loose papers over here that need to go in. Told you guys I'm not type A. Coach prospects, and I love to have a master list of people you want on your team, okay? I believe that sending that energy out to the world, like, why not, right? Who do you want on your team? And it's a super satisfying feeling when you can cross one of those names off because they joined your team. So whatever they may be, your best friend, your favorite fitness junkie friend, anybody who's bought from you who might be interested in the discount, anybody who you just think could use the income opportunity. I don't care. Write them down because these are people that you can be revisiting and inviting to things. And then here I have, then the next tab is my coaches. So you're going to see like I've got my close to diamonds there. I'm kind of keeping an eyeball on what they're doing, help them out. And so I like to kind of keep an eye on my coaches. And then my last tab is calls. And that's not the calls that I'm organizing for you guys. That is my personal development notes. And I got a whole lot in there right now. Tons and tons and tons of notes. And then I've got, obviously, over here, like I said, I just moved, so be kind. I just found my binder again today. Over here, I've got calls that I need to, information that I need to stick in there. But when I'm listening to a national wake up call, or, you know, sometimes I'll listen when I'm running or driving and then I have to revisit a little bit, or I'm on a call, then I keep all my notes organized somewhere. And so this binder has been a huge lifesaver for me, because before it was notebooks and sticky notes all over the place. So trying this, I tried a lot of different systems. So yeah, that was a lot on, I'm sorry, I probably just overwhelmed. That's a lot on how I keep my life organized. It's not super organized. My life's kind of chaotic, but organize your time with a calendar, multiple calendars to fit your power hours in. And you've got to have a place to keep track of your contacts, your coach potentials, your current challengers, notes from calls. And for me, it made sense to just put that all in one place, but everybody is different. And organize your stuff on your computer. That was a lot. Okay, who else? Carla and Tracy, how are you guys organized? Because you're probably more organized than me, I would venture to guess.
I struggle with this, I'm gonna be honest. But one thing you had mentioned is like sometimes you'll do calls or PD when you're driving or something. And that was something I struggled with, like, oh my gosh, I work full time. I'm doing this as a side business. I have 3 kids, you know, 6, 2, and 1. Like, it's really hard to go back and listen again.
Right. And you have to listen in those moments. Yeah.
Yeah. So I found this app. I'm assuming it's on iPhones. I have an Android, but usually if it's on Android, it's on iPhones. It's called Cozi, C-O-Z-I. And you can, or Kogi, C-O-G-I, sorry. Okay. And what you can do is you can just like, you start a session and it has it kind of running in the background, but then when you tap it, it starts highlighting from 15 seconds previous.
What?
And then you tap it again to turn it off. So once you're like, okay, this isn't important anymore, turn it off. And then you tap it again and it goes 15 seconds back. And then when you tap and hold, it'll stop the session completely. So that way you don't have to re-listen to the whole thing. You can just listen to the little snippets that you thought were important. So that's been a bit of a game changer for me.
That's huge. Okay, will you share that in the group too? Kogi.
Yeah.
Because lately I've been speaking into my notes, you know, like they'll say something, I'll pause it and I'll be like, blah, 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 which kind of works, but that sounds way better because half the time I'm reading, I'm like, what the hell was I trying to say? Like, I'm speaking a different language. Like, okay, Kogi, I'm going to try that. That's cool.
But otherwise, I suck at organization and wish I would have really got on the ball at the beginning of my game. And so now I am trying my best to get caught up on that and actually have a system and stick with it.
Thank you for saying that, because I think that's my other bit of advice, new coaches who are watching this recording. Thank you, Carla, is I might not be organizing my contacts on freaking pen and paper if I had started organizing them on the computer from day one, and I did not. So, you know, like after a year or two, and I decided I really want to have a system in place, like it's really hard. So the more you can figure out your systems now as you're starting and your contact list is smaller, it makes, and your coach list is small, everything's just scaled down. It just makes it so much easier and manageable. Tracy, how about you? What do you do?
I'm a girl after your own heart. Is that how we say it?
Yeah.
I'm pen and paper.
Love it.
Not very organized. Like, I'm like, oh, good. If Jess is like this, I'm doing great.
I am.
I do keep a ton on the computer as far as like documents go. Like, if you want information on groups or posts or whatever, like.
Hi.
Hi. Say hi. Get it out of your space. So I do a ton. Like, I mean, I do a lot on Google Docs. But so I tried organizing things on like spreadsheets, my contact lists, and I did try that. It just didn't work for me. I'm a pen and paper girl, so don't feel bad, Jess, that you get stars that way, because stars.
Okay. Feel better.
What I did is I printed out like a whole binder of, you know, like off of Etsy that Christy actually given me. And so I printed this whole thing off. I have a big binder and I don't even use it because I actually found the system that worked for me. I started out with being a teacher, lesson plan sheets. I actually write out like my posts and like basically my week in a lesson plan form. who I was going to contact, what I was going to post on my pages and in my groups and things, things like that. So then I ended up finding, I don't know if you can see this at all, but these little, that's what I do as far as kind of planning out my week. And then it's blank on the back so I can fill up with notes and stuff like that. But it's got a note section, and I just write to do and all the to-dos that I want to kind of get at, which is like anything and everything. Like right now I had, I put out my May PIO class calendar, talked to my coaches that are close to Emerald, and things like that, just whatever. And then I had people that I was thinking about for coaching, do a list, and then people that I want, to add to groups, do a list. And it's always all just in that note section. And then usually every week, either I tweak the same one or I pull out a new one and I copy some of the same stuff down. Like if there's challengers that I didn't, end up, or people that I didn't end up following up with, or that were non-responding, then I just add them. I kind of roll them over on the list, I guess. So, but I am definitely pen and paper. I've got lots of notebooks. I think finding the system that works for you. I have dry erase calendars too. I've got so much. If I showed you my desk, you'd be like, oh yeah, no, she's not organized. My challenge, but it works for me. So I'm constantly trying to revamp or improve it. But for right now, it's good. Time management, probably that the time blocking is, I go in and out of spurts with that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm really good with it, and then sometimes I'm not. And I call them power pockets. Like I find my pockets within my day that
power pockets.
Power pockets, don't you like that? It's like hot pockets. Power pockets. But as a mom running around with your kids, it's kind of like get in when you can. For me at least, get in the time when I can. So some days it's busier than others. But that's it. I don't really have too much. I'm not an organized person. Sorry.
No, that's really helpful. I mean, I think it's great, and I think you hit the nail on the head by saying you've got to find what works for you.
Mm-hmm. And I tried lots of different things. It's the other, like I had to do some certain things one way, and then when I figured it wasn't working, I tried something new. So, just because one way isn't working for you, don't give up. Like find what does. Eventually, you'll find the right groove for you, and don't feel bad if it's not, the perfect spreadsheet on Google Docs. Like some people you'll see, and that's great. It works for them. But if it doesn't work for you, then don't like beat yourself up over it. So.
I agree.
Well, I have to go, ladies, but thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you, April, for tuning in. And I should let you all go in a minute because, of course, I went way over. Any other questions that have popped up? Yeah, Janelle.
Okay, so I have a question because still really new, and I'm running my challenge group now, and then I do have 10 plus people or in the future type people. And I don't know when to start really following up with them for the next challenge. You know what I mean? I feel a little bit uncomfortable still talking to people about signing up for June.
Yeah.
To me, it feels early, but I just want to know your guys' process.
My process is to plan June, pick your challenge date, start. You're going to want them to have ordered their product 10 days before that start date, right? So
right.
You're going to want to start talking to them 2 weeks before that.
But what if it's somebody that just told me no, on the 30th? And then would you wait a little longer till it gets closer?
Probably. It kind of depends a little bit about why they told you no, too.
It's the money. And then it's also because I think it was just so new, hearing about it, they kind of were watching me. And then somebody I've known from the past. And so she said she was interested, for example, this is one of the examples in June. I just didn't know when I should start to reach out.
I think
and
that,
then,
sorry.
Oh. And then my other question was let's say it's somebody totally new and they're yeah, I want to do it. I guess it feels a little weird to be okay, buy your challenge packet now, and then I will start we'll start in 28 days or in 25 days. It feels weird to say something. I don't know how you guys navigate that.
I would say very rare. Okay. I would say people tend to be, and I don't know if Tracy and Carla will agree with me, people tend to wait until the last possible minute to order. So, yes, every once in a while I'll have someone who's got their goodies 15 days before the challenge group starts. And then you just support them with that. You know, like sometimes people aren't interested in opening them until the challenge group starts. And sometimes people are interested in getting acquainted with them, and you can kind of walk them through it and, you know, talk them how to make some shakes, and, you know, they can try some workouts. But I'd say most people are going to wait until the bitter end to order. So I think talking to them, you know, you probably want to start the conversation 3 weeks before the group's going to start. I don't know.
Okay.
A lot of back and forth. I don't know. Tracy and Carla, what do you find? I think people who are really on top of it are the exception to the rule.
Well, I was going to say, if you have somebody that's interested, go for it. Just go with it. Have them buy it, get it, get them. Just do it. There's no reason to wait. They have it in their hands and just say, you know what, I'm not starting my group yet, but you're welcome to, get started. And if you have any questions, let me know. But, when we're officially going to roll with it, this date. But I mean, yeah, I would never tell anybody to wait. I'd be like, get on now, get it and figure it out.
You could do
is you can always add somebody to a group that's starting earlier, a friends group. Is that what you're going to say, Carla?
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, like, you could just say, like, hey, this group has already started, but you can jump in, we're already halfway through, but this can give you some support. And, if I typically, I guess my first couple of groups, I had like just 21-day fixers, but since then I just kind of have a mishmash of people. So it's easy to be like, we're not all doing the exact same thing. So we're not all on the exact same day. So if you want to get started, like, you can be in this group for the support, but then your official group will be like, then you'll continue on with the next group because you're technically ordering for the next group.
Okay. Yeah.
And you may find too, somebody that's ready to get going might not need a group for support. Like, I know I've had a lot of people just, get their package and they followed along with the group, but never they never participated at all because they were just doing it all on their own, so you might have those. So don't, you don't have to wait till your group starts. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate, I guess, would be my advice to you. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that really, truly, the number of people I have who are anxiously waiting for their stuff to arrive because they waited too long, or that is almost always the case. Very rarely does it the other way around. Would you ladies agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So the earlier you can get the conversation rolling and get them committed, because it's going to be a lot of back and forth, like the earlier the better. And that's one reason why I think it's really important. That's part of the reason I had such an issue in April is I didn't plan out April. And then, I didn't push hard enough in March to connect with people and have a plan for April. And then I hit April and now everybody's ordering at the beginning of May. So plan ahead, get the conversation going earlier than later. And if somebody just expressed interest, just said no to me, like on the 30th, I wouldn't follow up today and be like, oh my gosh, are you ready today? But feel it out. That's what their reasons were.
Okay. And one more thing, you put out a recording, I think, about, and I liked it, and I don't know what it's called, and I'm not sure if it's on Team on the Run, but it was like the 3 F's, like it's like a way to talk to people.
Feel, felt, found.
What's it? I'm sorry?
Feel, felt, found.
Yeah, I want to listen to that again. And I don't know where it's...
Price objections?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post it for you. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Was it me?
Yeah, it was you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, listen to that again because I liked it. And then I'm like, I lost the memory of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I remember found.
I'll post it in the group for you. But that is my go-to with
okay.
all sorts of objections.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, and I just have it. Oh, okay.
Well, you're good. If you got other questions. Look at you go.
I put all my national wake-up calls on colored paper.
Aww.
Because I feel like it's interesting to me to look at them. And then I make sure to put the speaker and who, all their history and stuff. And then I have my tabs for my trainings and I have a lot of tabs because I'm new, but I have like my trainings and like this stuff, you know, the new stuff and the group. So that's my system so far.
I
We
love
should all
it.
bring our system to Nashville and be like, what?
We should. And I'm proud of you for having a system, because I certainly did not have a system when I first started at all. I had like, I don't
And
know.
then I at a glance, I use that too. So
Love
I'm
it.
trying. I'm kind of like all of you. It's like,
Perfect.
yeah, it's all over the place.
Perfect. Love it. Well, ladies, it is late, and I know that I get long-winded, but I hope that I answered questions, and I will post that Feel, Felt, Found price objection video, and Carla's going to walk us through how she does her links so that I can actually have a system that I use.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you. All right. And ladies, I will let you go, but any other questions come up from the new coaches, just comment below this video and I will go in and make sure to answer them. Okay?
All right.
All right, good night.
All right. Good night, guys. Thank you so much.